Over the past couple of days, I've been playing the Desolation of Mordor Shadow of War DLC. And that's the Shadow of War DLC for Desolation of Mordor. Yeah, the naming's a bit weird when you say it out loud. But I've been finding the DLC very fun. It's, out of the two story DLCs, definitely the better one in my opinion. There's just so much cool stuff. I've made some notes, but I know I'm missing out stuff, because I haven't even put the werewolves or word worms or weirworms or whatever in the notes, and they're just awesome. They are so much fun to just have in the game. But to start off, I want to talk about Baranor and his abilities. This is the key reason why I'm having so much fun with the DLC, because Baranor is just fun to play as. If you watched my first look video that I put up a few days ago, if I get this out on time, then you'll have seen the whole climby chain and the glider kite thing and all of that, which to start off with is a lot of fun, and it continues being fun as you play. But once you start chaining the two together, so you start gliding and climbing up to get up higher and then gliding off again and then just combining them all together, the movement becomes just exceptionally fun, which is always essential to any good game. Additionally, just the whole combat abilities, linking them together, so a shield charge into just an attack from behind, into knocking people down with a shield charge, and then stabbing them on the ground for a ground execution. There's just... it all flows together really well, which just makes the game so much more enjoyable. Another good thing about it is Baranor is nowhere near as overpowered as Eltariel or Talion. The elf was just a spam fest. You just used that light ability over and over again and everything died. I just mapped that to one of my side mouse buttons, and that was the only button I used for most of the game. I just hit the person over and over again with that. It was just stupidly overpowered, to a point where it shouldn't have been that good. And Talion, you get into combat loops. For me, it's normally freezing enemies, and then just cutting them apart, especially with captains. If they're not frostproof, I just tear them to pieces. Baranor, on the other hand, you can kind of spam the shield, which is the most spammy thing I found, but even that requires some build-up, and because of a close range, it's not as bad as some things can be. You can also use the crossbow very effectively, but that's limited by ammo, so you have to be either accurate and have the right upgrades, or be very smart with it. And talking about upgrades, I just love all the different upgrades, be it weapon stuff or abilities. So for the crossbow, I ran across a modification for it, and the modification works slightly differently to how it did in the base game. You just upgrade your base equipment with various mods you find, some of which are stackable ones that just raise damage or focus or whatever. And I found one that a headshot kill with a crossbow brings back one steel bolt. Which means if I use a steel bolt to headshot kill a grunt, then I get the bolt back that I killed them with. Meaning, as long as I stay accurate, I can just spin out about 100 different grunts running at me, which is great. Obviously, you need focus to reliably hit headshots on fast-moving targets. You can sometimes get headshots on them, but it's not guaranteed. So the ability is very strong if used right, but I wouldn't say it's overpowered. It's a very nice balance of satisfying but not godlike. Additionally, more recently, I unlocked these quick-firing bolt ability things, which activates after an execution or stealth attack, I believe, and the flame shield. And these two are insanely fun. The footage you're likely watching is a point where I got caught in a spawn point, with tons of enemies and captains kept showing up, and I had about 20-25 minutes, actually more like half an hour apparently, where I was just killing them all. Just all of them. Yeah, permanent upgrade chain kills, I've checked it now. Use your crossbow to chain together multiple stealth kills or executions. It is... oh god, there'll be footage that you'll see it. It's when it goes into the slow-mo awesome badass mode, and god is it good. it is the most satisfying and cool thing ever. The flame shield as well, just pile through a group of grunts, set them all on fire. Oh god, it's so much fun. Just so stupidly fun to have combat. And besides the combat, obviously there's characters and story, which are all pretty solid. It's enjoyable, but it's not revolutionary. There's no like, oh wow, this is the greatest story of all time. I haven't finished the story, but even like halfway through I can tell it's not going to be anything amazing, but it's still very fun to play through. No huge surprises here or there that I found so far, but you don't really need it. The game's for the gameplay more than anything. The story helps move things along, and the characters are all fairly nice. There's a lot of generic NPCs, which I'm about to go into, but overall not too bad. Now, with it being Baranor instead of Talion, you don't have a ring of power and there's no dominating. And this does somewhat waste the Nemesis system, which has always been the best part of these games. It's getting orcs on your side and exploiting the weaknesses and stuff. And although you can still exploit weaknesses, you don't have your own orcs, which makes it a little annoying at times. There is something missing, which you get in the other games, but it's not too bad a thing to lose overall. It's annoying, but doesn't ruin the game, which is good, because if it did, then, yeah, that's the game ruined, oh dear. Instead, you have to focus on mercenaries, who don't really have a personality, which does suck. They're all just people that you summon as your bodyguards. The main characters, Senra? Is it Senra? Whoever Baranor's brother is, he's, got a personality and he's quite nice and stuff, and there's a couple of, named people who get characters given to them, and the orcs obviously have characters, but because they don't come back too often, it would only be if cheated death, you don't get as much personality from all the fights, which is a shame. Besides that, there have been some minor glitches here and there, just like clipping issues, and I've noticed going onto the army screen after fast travelling, it sometimes loads up a bit slower and I have to click escape instead of hitting escape on the keyboard, but there's nothing that really ruins the experience glitch-wise, or at least nothing that I've found. And that's it for my review. I'm just keeping this nice and short because it doesn't need a stupidly in detail review, seeing as it is just the DLC. But I'd highly recommend this for anyone who already has the game. If you don't have the game because you don't like the system, this probably isn't going to convince you to buy it, but if you haven't got any of the DLCs yet, I'd recommend this one as the one to go for, as I feel it adds the most enjoyment factor overall. That's all from me for now though. Leave a like if you enjoyed the review. Leave your own thoughts on the DLC or the game in general in the comments below. I am genuinely interested to hear, especially if you've been playing this DLC. And feel free to share the video too. That's all for now. Sarge out.